Hello, it's me, and I've had a number of requests to go through a walkthrough solve of this really neat looking puzzle over here. This is that axis duo puzzle. So what this really in essence is, if we want to get perspective, if we wanted to solve this beast, I mean actually taking a look at this, it moves in this way, it moves, let's see, it moves over here, but there seems to be these internal pieces. Now in the unboxing that I did with this, I showed exactly what the structure was with this and how we can scramble all these internal layers as well. So really what this is in essence is it's this guy over here. It's a cube for you 3 by 5 by 5. Not exactly though, because these are also like these edges over here. So it's like you took an edge here and lopped it onto here. So at first the thinking is, well, just solve it like a version of this, but you can't exactly do that either. Because what AJ did very cleverly is he not only turned this into an axis cube, what he did first is he did a random scramble of this puzzle over here. Let's say like this. Then he converted that into an axis cube and then restickered it. So in reality what you have is you have a type of a puzzle that in its fully reduced form would look like this, and then it has to be solved from there. So that makes it a little more complicated, a little more difficult. So first thing that we want to do is we want to start matching up the outer pieces with the inner pieces. So how do we do that? Well, just to get perspective, what I would do is let's find a top and we'll find a bottom. So here's a top. We'll say this is a top over here. And what I'm going to do is bit by bit, step by step, start reducing the inner edges with the outer edges and the inner corners with the outer corners. But and just do that like a 3 by 5 by 5. Right now I can only move it as a 3 by 3. 1, 2, 3. So to move it as a 3 by 5 by 5, I've got the orientation wrong. So no problem. Let's just orient this. So I'm not going to do this like a 3 by 5 by 5. I'm going to do this by reduction, actually, by reducing the various pieces, the inner and the outer edges and inner and the outer corners, and then start solving it like a 3 by 3 and then like a 3 by 5 by 5. So here's what I mean by that. So what I want to do is I want to start orienting things. So I'm going to put the edges in first. Or actually, I'll put the edges and the corners in at the same time. So this is obviously not where it's supposed to be. So I'm just going to find one that is. So this is good. This will slice along here. So these two are okay. Now, whatever I'm going to line up here, I'd like to fit it with this piece. So green and orange. Let's find a green and orange inner edge. So I'm going to hunt around, green and orange. It's two colors over here, so a little bit of hunting. And we find, let's see, I'll scope the bottom out here. And nothing here, so it must be in here somewhere. Green and orange. Aha! Green and orange. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to move this up here. Now I've already put this corner in here, so I don't want to mess that up. So, well, it looks like I might have to. So I think what I'm going to have to do is ignore this for now and just put my edges in. Okay, so this will come to here. This orange will meet this, but I need a green and orange. So I miscalculated that. Oh, it's right over here. Splat. Okay, so this will come into here just fine. So this is fine here. I'm not going to focus on the corners as of yet, come to think of it. So now I've got an orange and yellow. So let's find an orange and yellow bottom over here. Can I easily find it here? Yeah, right over here. So I just turn this up. Okay, so far so good. So this will come into here. Now green, I need to find a solid green. How about this guy over here? Just go splat. Oh, but that's upside down. So I've got to turn this right side up. So I'll move this into here and turn this up here. So right now this will come to here. Now I need a red one to come over to here, but I've already got this one spoken for. So this will come to here and be fine. This will come to here, and this will come to here. Now I can start doing the same thing with corners. So here's a green corner. I want to move another green corner, small green corner here. So I only have so many corners to choose from. I don't see any green over here, so it's probably going to be this guy. So I'm going to take this corner. Now it's a little hard to get perspective at times. There we go. Now by doing this RIDI-RD maneuver that you've seen me do a lot, I'm not going to mess up the edges. So this needs to come up to here. RIDI. I'm just going to move it past one and line it up correctly. And turn. Okay, so this will come to here, so that's good. This has 3 colors to it, white, blue, and orange. I think it's probably this. So what we have is we have something of a reciprocal. So we want this guy over here comes to here, so these two actually have to be flipped. So I'm going to have to sacrifice that. So this will come to here, and I'm going to pick a random one over here. R-I, D-I-R. Okay, so I have to ignore this because that's going to be flipping, so that's not going to work so good. Okay, so this orange one has to find another orange one down over here, which is this guy. So turn, turn. We're just going to have to line it up. And not yet. So you can see the movement of this puzzle is good. I'm very impressed with AJ's work. And up. Okay, so this will come to here. This red has to find a red one over here, but I think we've already had this spoken for. So now I can, for the first time, move this top layer. Make sure there's nothing that's bandaging me. Make sure I'm lined up, and I am. And I just go kersplat. So this is lined up. This isn't. This is lined up. This is lined up. This isn't. This isn't. This is. So I've reduced a couple. So now I'm going to do the same thing. Now I'm going to take this and find a red one over here. This one, nope, it's got to be a small red one. It's going to be this one, I think. So that's going to be my red edge. So I'm going to take this and move this out of the way. Just going to move this over to here. So now this is going to line up to here. Green and white. See if I can find a green and white edge over here. I can't, so it must be here somewhere. So let's kind of troll around here. This one. Okay, so this green and white, I'll just plop this up over here. So this will come here. Now I'm looking for blue and yellow. Blue and yellow. Am I going to get lucky here? Yeah, blue and yellow here. So I just go splat. Okay, so how am I doing now? This will come here, white and red, which happens to be right over here, so it's perfect. So now I'm going to start moving corners in. So I'm just going to find a wayward corner, and we've got this red, yellow, and green, red, yellow, and green. So this corner will be adjacent to here so that this can fall into place. Turn, turn, turn. So fairly simple stuff, fairly straightforward right now. Just takes some doing. This will have to find a long blue, and here's a long blue. Turn, turn, and keep turning it around until I line it up in the correct position. That's over here. Now this white, we'll have to find a long white over here, right over here. So in my unboxing, when I did the scramble, I made sure that I used algorithms to do the scramble so I can get a good scramble. Okay, so this is fine here, and that's about as far as I can go now. So now I can turn this. This is in, 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 and this is in. So everything's in but this. So now let's find some more wayward edges. This is the center. Here's a wayward edge. So I'm going to go ahead and move this in. This guy right over here. So now I'm looking for a blue. Just a long blue. See anything? Yeah, right over here. So, okay, I don't want to lose my perspective here, but this is going to come up, turn, and across. So this blue will come here. I need a yellow. I've got one here, but it's upside down. So we will right it, right side up it, and turn. I'm inevitably going to come to a situation where I'm going to run into trouble, but anyway, this will come to here. This yellow will come here. I need a blue and red edge right over here. So it's all coming together so easy. And now I need a white to come here, but this is already in play over here. So now we just do some wayward corners. There's this. Let's go ahead and line this up. Turn, turn, and up we go. So now I'm looking for a yellow, blue, and white. Yellow, blue, and white. Let's see, yellow, blue, and white. Orange, blue, and white. Right over here. There goes that color blindness again. Turn, turn, and up. Okay, now a red. I need to find a red over here, and it's looking like that's right up my alley, this guy here. So you can see we're starting to reduce this into something that just looks like an axis cube. But not exactly. I still can't escape the 3 by 5 by 5. Okay, so now we're cooking. This to a yellow, which is over here, but this is already spoken for. So let's just find another corner that's not where it's supposed to be. Okay, now here's the dilemma, because I think I've run into a situation where I've run out of corners. Every corner is pretty much spoken for, so I'm going to have to destroy one. Maybe this one. I'm going to sacrifice one to create 3 others. Maybe there's another way, but anyway. So I'm going to take this and move it and go kersplat. In, not in, not in. So I've got these 2 that are not in. So you can see that I've really reduced a good portion of this. There's only a couple that's not really reduced as of yet. But let's see how far we can go here. So I've got white. Where's a white? A white's over here. So I'm going to move this guy in. This is a fun one because it's easy to lose perspective. So actually I've got a reciprocal. By a reciprocal I mean that this belongs here and this belongs here. So there's no way to move these in with each other without destroying others. Everything else is in. Every other edge is reduced except for these 2. So how am I going to deal with that? What's more, when you look at the corners, I've got this corner that's not reduced. And what's another of this one? So these 2, as you can see, are reciprocals as well. So there's no way to move these 2 in and these 2 in without destroying others. So this is where I leave the realm of the reduction and start solving it like a 3 by 3 by 5. I can actually do that. I'm going to have to do algorithms to swap these guys. Let's start off by taking all of those that are not reduced, putting them in the same level. Doesn't really matter where, doesn't really matter what order. So I'm going to move this like so. So this is here, this is here, this is here, and this is here. All of the rest, it doesn't matter what color these are. Everything else is pretty much reduced, but what I'm going to want is a top and a bottom that can move like a 3 by 5 by 5. Once I do that, I can start shuttling these pieces around and doing swaps in order to get them where they're supposed to be. So if this is going to be a top layer, let's go ahead and take these and just line them up to where I can move it like a 3 by 5 by 5. So let's take this, R-I, D-I, R-D, R-I, D-I, R-D. And it actually doesn't even have to be that. It could be any one, as long as it allows for the proper movement. So this is good over here. This is good over here. I need to get an edge in. So to do that, why don't I move this out of the way like so. Move this here and move this over here. I'm just positioning basically. This, R-I-D-I-R-D. Why not? That's okay, that's okay, that okay. So what I wanted to do is be able to move the top over here. Now as you can see, these this is in, this is in, this is in, and this is in, but these guys aren't. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing corner swapping and edge swapping. I'm going to be looking to see what's in and what's not in, and I'm going to have to coordinate these things together like a 3 by 5 by 5. So looking at this, the first thing that I would do is you get the corners in. So what 2 corners are correct and what 2 corners need to be swapped? Well, these 2 corners need to be swapped. The rest is correct. So I can do an adjacent corner swap, which means I got to take this and move it adjacent to here. So I'm going to corner swap these 2 and put them adjacent to each other. This has to come to here, so it's adjacent here. Then I can do an adjacent corner swap just with a top layer. So just to reiterate, I want these 2 pieces to be next to each other. So I'm going to take these corners en masse and swap them. So to our U, to our UI, to our turn, turn, to our UI, to our U, to our. And I could have just manually have done it, but I decided not to. Okay, so if you can imagine this piece, this layer is like this layer over here. If I had, what you do is you first check to see if you have 2 corners that are in, then you do a corner swap, your headlights, so to speak. Well, I'm doing the same thing here. And what I can say is that this is properly placed, this is properly placed, but these 2 aren't. So if I do a corner swap, it's going to put these basically in place. It's going to put all of these corners in place in conjunction with the bottom layer. Now it is going to mess up the edges, but that's okay. Now here's also something else that I have to bear in mind. If I'm going to do those algorithms, if I'm going to do a corner swap to swap these two, I also need to be able to move the bottom layer as well, like this. Which means I can't do this yet until I organize the bottom layer the same way. So how am I going to do that? Now bear in mind, what I'm describing as a corner swap you know is impossible according to the law of cubes. What's actually going to happen is this will come here, this will come here, and this will come here, and and this will stay the same. So it's a 3 cycle. But they'll be right in conjunction with each other, and just one turn will put these corners in the proper place. However, the centers, the edges rather, won't be coordinated because they're not part of that 3 cycle. So what I have to do if I'm going to do these corner swaps is that I've got to turn it upside down and get all of these placed correctly. And that's where the problem is. So the first thing that I'm going to do is my algorithms to orient the edges. This is upside down, this is upside down, this is upside down, this is right side up. Well, I'm not going to be able to do the algorithms that I want like that because I have to have 2 down and 2 up, or all of them up or all of them down. I can't have 1 down and 3 up. So what that means is I just have to take another edge and put it in here. Just kind of manually put it in here by doing a swap from here to here. Because I won't be able to do the FRU, RI, UI, FI to swap these or to permute these correctly. So let's just go ahead and do R, or rather UR, UI, RI, UI, FI, UF. The good thing about these algorithms is they're not going to mess up anything here. This stays exactly the same. So now let's see. Right side up, upside down, upside down. I can stop there and I can treat this like it was the last layer because this looks like that L formation. So what can happen when I do the FRU, RI, FI, this will stay the same, this will flip, and this will shift down over here. So we're going to end up with a line. So we'll do FRU, RI, UI, FI. When I said it'll end up with a line, it means that this will be right and this will be right, like a line, and these will be upside down. One more turn of this and all of my edges are going to be fine. FRU, RI, UI, FI. So I'm doing simple Rubik's Cube beginner's method algorithms to get the setups that I want. So this is good, this is good, this is good, and this is good. Now here's the good news with the corners. The corners are all automatically going to be set up. I don't have to worry about changing or rearranging. So this is oriented correctly. This is not, and this is not. So all I have to do is RIDs until I get these oriented correct. Now here's a little trick. Well, actually, none of them are oriented correctly. So what I'm going to do, as long as these corners down here are oriented correctly, these can be done just by doing RIDs all the way around. So I'm going to do RIDs until all of these are oriented correctly, until this is, move this into place, until this corner is. Same thing as the last step in the beginner's method. So RIDD, keep going. By bearing in mind the law of cubes, it makes sense. D. So this is oriented correctly. I'm going to move this in place and do the same thing. I don't worry about anything that got messed up over here. It'll automatically fix itself. RIDD, RIDD, and just having a little faith, we keep going with it. RIDD. So as you can see, this is fine. Now I move this into place. RIDD. All right, don't get turned around. DIRD. So now this is in place. I turn this here, and automatically, once this is rotated in, this will automatically be fixed. RIDD. So now all of these are lined up, so I can move this in a separate layer. It's just not lined up. There it is, and I don't even have to test it so much. I know this automatically is lined up as well. So now what I have is I have a situation where it's in this configuration, where I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 5. Don't want to mess myself up here. Okay. This is only in position, not because we're going to be changing anything. We're not going to be changing the configuration at all. We're only doing this so this can act as a backdrop to do what I have to do here. So let's do a corner swap. And that's going to be 2R, U. I have to move the top layer. That's why I had to organize that. 2R, UI, 2R. Again, just the top layer. UI, D. 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. And now after having done that, we take this bottom layer and we simply move it back. It'll automatically be fixed. You don't have to worry about it. So now as you look at this, this is in, this is in, this is in, and this is in. These are all in. Corners are in. Now for the edges, well, all we have to do is we ignore this layer, say that this layer is fixed. This is the independent layer, this is the dependent layer, and we do edge swaps. Now there's not going to be any parity with this. It's an even layer puzzle. So I'm going to take this and flip these two. This will come here and be in, this will come here and not be in. And we're going to get what I call placement parity with here, but it really doesn't matter. Because even if these are flip-flopped, it doesn't really matter because we're not even solving it for that. So it might appear that there might be a parity, but there isn't. So we'll do a edge swap. 2R U, 2R adjacent edge swap, U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, U, 2R, UI, and 2R. Okay, a couple things to notice here. You'll see that this was flipped, but oh my gosh, it looks like this is all messed up. Don't worry about that. What happened here is you got misplacement amongst this layer and this layer. So have faith that as you do this algorithm again, these are going to flip over here. So this piece belongs up here and it just got flipped. This piece is also down here and it got flipped. So you don't worry about any of that. Just don't move this layer and don't move this layer. Only move this and you'll be fine. It looks like we messed it up, but we really didn't. So now what we want to do is we want to flip-flop these guys. We want to flip these guys. This red to here, this orange to here. So I'm going to do an adjacent, rather an opposite edge swap. And you're going to find that after doing that, these layers will swap again and everything will be fine. So taking a look at this, it looks like we messed things up, but we actually didn't. We just caused misplacement when we did an edge move. Anytime you do an edge adjacent or opposite swap. So let's try it out. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, and 2R, 2U. And by those calculations, everything should be fine. In. So there you have it. This is now simply a reduced axis cube, which was fun because the process of solving it meant a little bit of reduction, a little bit of cuboid methodology, domino methodology with corner swaps and edge swaps, and bearing in mind the perspective bending aspects. So really, it's just an axis cube at this point. So we can solve it as such. We'll take this down here, and we'll move my edges into place. Turn this here. Oh, there must be another green side here. There you go. This comes into here. So I might as well do this. And we'll try to find the position that this fits best with. I'll move this kind of fast, and bang. So this belongs over here. Now I need another green edge, and it's not going to be this, so it's the only green edge that would be remaining, which happens to be this guy here. Turn this in, but I've got to maneuver this center and splat. So this is in, and this is in. What I'm looking for is a yellow and orange. Do I happen to see it here? And I don't. Or maybe just a yellow. Move this here. Oh, here it is, yellow and orange. Actually, I think it is just yellow. Nope, there it is. Okay, yellow and orange here. Now I need just a straight orange, which is probably this guy. Let's see what happens. Turn and turn. Okay, so I've got the crossover here, and I just got to put these guys in. I think this triangle belongs here. It just has to be oriented correctly. Turn, turn, and turn. So we're good. This is going to be a green and orange corner. Well, here's a green, orange, and yellow rather, and red. I don't know if that goes there, but we can give it a try. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Turn and turn. So this is in, so you can see how nicely this moves. And a green triangle. So almost have our first side done. And turn. Okay, first side is done. What I didn't do, which is what I should do, is make sure that all of my pieces are oriented. Good, good, good. And the problem is this, I gotta orient that. Didn't do that. So I'm gonna double turn this down, double turn this here, and I'll move this into the correct place. Splat. See, no harm, no foul. Turn it upside down and start moving these guys in. This comes down to here, but it's the wrong way, as you can see. Turn, 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 turn. This actually moves better than my cube for you, so he must have done some work. Any snagging is just because of the overhanging pieces. It's really not that bad. This orange comes to here. Turn, turn. I'm trying to set the record for the slowest 3x3 solve on YouTube. Okay. Yellow and blue. Turn, 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 turn. But if you're going to see a solve, you might as well see it to the end. And now finally, oh, got to get my perspective here. So the middle layer is pretty much almost done. Thought I was going to get off a little too easy there. Turn, turn. This puzzle loves to move. Turn, 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 and down. Okay. Now in terms of perspective here, what's right side up and what's upside down? I've got to permute this. Well, I can line this up here and see that this is upside down. This is upside down, which means that these two are both either upside down too or right side up. This guy's upside down, so I think they're all upside down. So it's not a ghost cube, so I just go like F, R, U, R, I, U, I, F, I. And see what that did. Right side up and right side up. So these two are right side up and this is upside down. So this represents that L formation. So really I'm just repeating the same methodology. I should have a line here. So you've seen us use the same concept before, but just applied in a slightly different step with this puzzle. And now all of these should be oriented. Now remember, this is a supercube. This is in, these two are not. Hold it here, R, U, R, I, U, R, 2U, R, I, move this in. So all the centers are in. This is the opposite of domino strategy where I put the corners in first. Now what goes where? This doesn't go here. This doesn't go here. Now here's the other issue too. We're not lined up with the center. So a supercube modality, it does get a little bit more complicated. Even though these are all right side up, we should probably correlate that with this. So to do this as a supercube, I'm going to do RU, RU, R2, URI until I get these to line up with the center. R, U, RI, U, R, 2U, RI. Now let's see if I get lucky and this works. So now this is lined up. Now just do the same thing. R, U, RI, U, R, 2U, RI. So that's how we kind of click that back into place. So this is okay here. In terms of corners, this is correct, this is not, and this is not, which is not surprising. This is an even layer puzzle. There should not be any parity. So to move this around, to move this, I'll do the algorithm to turn these around, or to permute these. U, R, UI, LI, U, RI, UI, L. And quite unexpectedly and simply, it gets solved. And that's because there's truly no parity. So there you have it. For the first time, hopefully quick and simple duo axis solve. A fun puzzle. Nothing really new under the sun. It's a supercube at its heart. But what it is it's a 3x3x5. Brilliantly designed in a way so that it's a perspective bender. You have to use reduction and then ultimately cuboid domino strategy to get your corners in, and then just do a normal supercube axis solve. So hopefully that clarifies things, and I'll just kind of roll this one out too, just for the sake of completeness, to show the similarities with these puzzles. Really, this is a combination of these two over here, and it really just goes to show that, you know, truth be told, no matter how complex a puzzle is, no matter how bizarre the shape may be, once you have a strategy in mind, that the shape of the puzzle, the size of the puzzle, and the relative complexity of a puzzle can all be fairly easily found once you get a good perspective on what the strategy is. Even something as seemingly complex and intricate as a duo cube. Now, here's my question. As I've had requests to go through the actual solve of this puzzle, I've actually had some requests to go through a solve of this guy. Now, as you recall, I did an unboxing of this one as well, and this was kind of a really clever idea. It's a combination fissure on the top and in the middle, and a standard 4x4 in the bottom and the middle over here as well. So in order to scramble this and solve it, you have to do it off-center. So I've had some requests to go through a solve of this, but here's my question to you. Would you like me to do it by reduction, where I reduce the centers and then reduce the edges and solve it as such, or would you like me to do it layer by layer? My preference is layer by layer, but let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching.